Welcome. Today's Thursday, September 18th, and tonight is our VIP Zoom crop, and we are working on Simple Page Kit 9. So let's jump over and have a look. This one's going to be pretty easy. Let's do this one first. So we'll look at it, and then we'll talk about how to do our do-over page. So again, remember you get two pre-designed base pages already designed for you. If you don't want to be doing the Simple Page Kit, there is just a plain page on the back. So we'll get those set up. And then we also get a page that has different designs on it. The cutting guide is on the reverse with our instructions, as well as a fall sticker strip. I really like these ones, love the colors. So this one, again, is going to be pretty easy. We are just going to cut between all the pre-numbered pages. And if you want to remember, if you want to check to make sure you're on the line, you can pull down your little guideline. So we have piece 1 and 2. We can cut between 3 and 5 here. And then we'll reverse it and cut at 4. And even though we know it's a 4x6, we don't need to pull the end out because they're all numbered for us. And we have 3 more 4x4 mats. Never fails. As soon as you start recording, the phone rings. Okay. And then these two at the end, oh, you can see I have a little bit of carryover there, so I can just bring it onto the mat, to the trimmer, take off that little bit. There we go. And then we can do one of two things here. You can see we're supposed to be cutting a little banner. So this is, how big was this? This is 2 inches. You could just slip it if you have your 3-in-1 ribbon tag. You could just slip it in. I think it's going to be a little bit deeper. Let me see if I have a 2-inch piece of paper. Let's cut this to 2 inches. And I want to just see if it's going to be deeper or basically about the same. Let's take a quick look. And that'll tell us if we actually want to use the tag. Well, and look at that. It is pretty close. So I'm going to use the tag. It's a little bit different, but I don't think that's going to matter. So I'm just going to use my tag cutter. Now, if you didn't do this, you could just, and you can see it's a little bit different, and that's okay. Otherwise, you can just get your scissors and you can just cut along the lines there. But since I've done one that way, I'm going to do them both that way. Okay, we have everything cut. So let's just lay this out, and then we're going to talk about our do-over page. So if we just lay these out, we look at our kind of a project recipe. So this is going to be in the middle here. So I would put it at the 3 inch. It's going to have, you can see it's got like an inch overlap each way. And let's see if that's where it is supposed to go. You know, I usually just lay things down and without reading what the instructions say. No, that looks perfect. This one will go over top. And this one goes this way. So pretty simple. Again, these pages only take us a couple minutes to complete. You can see that there's this striped line across here. You can see that on the project recipe or the Simple Page Kit instructions. That is a sticker strip, so that's just going to go across there. And then you can use any of the stickers that come with it. Now, you know that I don't normally attach everything because I like to use it as a sample when we create our base pages for our do-over layout. So let me show you what I'm going to be using for that and what you're going to need. So you're going to need 2 base pages. That's where this birch bark paper is. Again, we've done this in the past and I'm not going to do that today. You could cut out a frame. I would cut my frame at, and it's not a frame, sorry, it's like a U or a C. I would cut it at, because it's at least an inch to give a little bit of overlap. So if you go an inch, and then I would go at least 10 1/4 to have a little, or yeah, sorry, 2 1/4 this way to have a little bit of an overlap to put these on. Today I'm just going to use the base pages and attach them. So you're going to need 2 base pages. So I'm using Copper Canyon. Since Copper Canyon 2 is coming out, I don't need to hoard things as much. So this is going to be my base page. And let's keep them like this so we can look at one. Then we're going to need a piece that's going to go across here. That piece is going to be 3.5 inches, and I am going to use this color to be that one that's going across there. This piece is going to be 7 inches, and I have this kind of dirt paper I'm going to use for that one. And then we're going to need, if we go to the project recipe, that is the base page that we got, these 3. The other thing that we're going to need is these 2 2x12 that are going across the page. I was going to use this one paper, pattern paper, but I was thinking, you know, I don't want to use it all yet. That maybe I'm just going to use Hot Fudge cardstock, and I think that will work going across the page where that one is. And then I'm going to need mats. And so you only need an 8-inch piece, and I had an 8-inch piece of copper shimmer, so I'm going to use that for my mats. Now, when I'm looking at the sizes, this piece at the top here is 3.5, right? And then this piece down here is 7. That means I would have to cut 2 sheets of paper. So I'm thinking, well, why don't I just cut it at 6? Because you saw when we put this piece down, it covered an inch of each side. So I'm just going to cut this one to be 3 inches by 10 instead of 3.5. By all means, you can cut it 3.5. And instead of this one being 7, I'm going to cut it at 6. And then I will just have this overlapping, because this way I only need to use 1 sheet of paper, not 2. So I'm going to overlap that one. And then again, we're going to need those mats. So very simply, let me get those in here, up here. I need 2 pieces that are between 3 and 3.5 by 10. Now this is old, this is Great Escape. So this piece is not 12 inches both ways. So I have to think about which way I want to cut this, because it's an 11.5 by 12-inch piece. And I don't need it to be 12 inches, but I might want 12 inches after. So these need to be at least 3 inches long. But at least 3. They can be 3.5, anywhere between 3 and 3.5. And I'm doing the paper saving, so I'm cutting them at 3. And then they are going to be 10 inches. I've got this left over. So these are going to be at least 3 by 10 or 3.5 by 10 is what the base page is. And you'll see when we put these together, I'm going to have a little bit of a space in the middle, and that's fine. This one we're going to cut in half. Don't really know if it has a direction. I'm going to cut it this way. We're going to cut this at, no, let's do this first. We want it to be 10 inches. So I'm going to cut this at 10 inches. Because this piece in here is 7 inches by 10. So I'm cutting it at 10. And then because I want a paper save, I'm cutting it at 6 inches. So we have one of each of those for each side. And then let's just cut our cardstock and we'll be able to do the base page. So we need 2 that are 2 by 12. So 2 inches, 2 inches. And I will need this to cut the mat, so I'm just going to put it away for now though. And then we are going to cut our tag in the end, either by hand or with the tag punch, whichever works for you. Okay, that ever comes back and you don't have it, make sure that you grab that. Okay, so let's put the instructions up there. Let's grab our new base pages. And again, if you want to gut these out, again, make sure you're at least 1 inch by 2 1/4 to have the hangover. This is going to go at 1/2 inch from the top. And this one's going to go 1/2 inch. Actually, I think it's 3/4. Where's my instructions? Yes, it's 3/4 inch. So let me get this straight. And they're going to be lined up in the middle. Oh, I should put some tape down. You know what you can always do if that happens? Just grab some washi tape. You can either washi tape, you can put a little bit of repo underneath. I just hate cleaning repo off. I'm just going to put a little bit of washi tape. So this is going to be at 3/4 inch. This is going to be at 3/4 inch. Now we have this space in the middle, but that's okay because we have this brown one going over top, right? So not a problem. And we didn't have to use 2 full sheets for this brown at the bottom. So let's do the same on this side. And I'm going to get a little bit of washi tape to attach that. And this isn't Creative Memories. This is some cheap washi tape that doesn't matter. And this way my pages aren't, and I know I'm not going all the way to the top anyways. So, so this one again will go 3/4 inch. Line them up. 3/4 inch from the top. 3/4 inch from the bottom. And then our darker color. Oh, I like that. Across. I am so happy for Copper Canyon to do that project recipe and project guidebook, which is coming up, I think October 2nd. That's when I have it on the calendar. Okay, so that's it. If we look at our base pages here, I'll put this one beside it with that piece coming across. We have our base page made. So you can just leave it like this until you decide what you're doing, but I'm going to cut my mats because this is kind of what I have left out of this sheet, and I'm using the copper shimmer. So we need 2 4x6s and 3 4x4s. So 3 4x4s and 2 4x6s, which I will have to pull out my arm. Now, since this is being pre-recorded, I don't have my Copper Canyon yet because this is 3/4. What I would like to do is, I know that there are stickers with that one, all right, and we talked about what goes across here, right, is this piece, and the Copper Canyon Secret Box didn't have stickers, so I'm waiting for the stickers to see if I have anything I can use to go across there. So now we have our 3 mats. And see what else is in this sticker pack. I do have some left of the stickers, but not the border stickers. And there is this Simple Page Kit number 9 with Copper Canyon and Great Escapes. This very versatile, and again, I made it simple this time. I didn't show you how you could paper save on the bottom because I know last time that was a little stressful for some people. So if you know how to do it, if you know, you know, so you can do that yourself. Otherwise, you can just do it this way and just attach it to a base piece of paper. You could even put white underneath if you wanted. So I hope that gives you some ideas for some paper packs that you have and how you can take the Simple Page Kit 9 guides and make another. So I will post this on my VIP group with the instructions. Let me just give you one more. I'll go back to my desk so that you can write down the pieces, the sizes again. So 1 and 2 are 2x12, 3 and 4 are 4x6, 5, 6, and 7 are 4x4s. So then your base page basically is you have a 3/4 by 2 inch outside piece here, or just a full sheet. This piece here on this base page, it is 3.5, This one is 7, but to save paper, I made mine 3 by 10 and 6 by 10, and then just had this piece that's overlapping in the middle, right? Because that saves you from having to use 2 sheets of this paper. And then your mats, we talked about the mats, and then any other stickers or embellishments that you want. So hope that helped. Thanks for joining me. Happy scrapping, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.